Hello everyone, my name is Melker and I'm the host of the Orienteering camp here at World of Wisdom. Today I will be sharing with you a crash course in orienteering, specifically at Gotland, and a walkthrough of the maps I have here. I wanted to bring orienteering to Gotland and to World of Wisdom because I think it is very relevant to the mindset needed in shifting and transforming and evolving. I think orienteering can be seen as somewhat of an analogy of life, in the sense that you have to be radically self-reliant and you have to work with your biases and you have to be in nature and be in the present because you can't be anywhere else. And for me, it has been an inducer of flow states. And I will take this time to really give you a beginner's perspective at orienteering. So I will try to explain it as easily as I can, assuming that you have no prior knowledge. And it will take roughly 10 minutes, I hope. So it will be a short video. And without further ado, I will share with you my screen. So this is the map of the area where we are currently sitting. And we're not, this is the start and the finish, but we are currently more down towards here, or down here, which is the seed camp. And what you need to know here is that the map is supposed to be as intuitive as possible. So these paths right here, the ones marked with black stripes, the larger and the more close together the lines are, the bigger the path. So for example, this completely drawn path right here is a gravel road which cars can drive on, and this right here from the first to second control is a footpath which only wide enough for one person at a time. So the colors are representing different things. Blue is of course water. The black has many different things they represent. So these are paths. Black is also can be a house. It can be a group of stones, or a block of stone, or just a regular stone. And something general and specific to Gotland is that everything here is a bit smaller. So the rocks you see here will be smaller than they are in mainland Sweden. And the pits, the hills, and everything else is also a bit smaller. So you have to really be aware of that when you come into the mindset of orienteering here at Gotland. These different colors of white, green, and yellow are used to describe how dense the forest is. So here in the quarry, you see this lighter type of yellow. That means that the ground is open. You can walk anywhere you like, and the visibility is very good. These fields you see right here with the green dots means that there is vegetation, but the vegetation is very low. But that doesn't mean that it's easy to pass. It can be, but in general, these green dotted areas might be harder to trespass. The rule of thumb is the greener, the denser. So with yellow being the most open, we then have white, which is kind of seen as the normal in orienteering. That's where you should be able to run through the forest. That is though assuming that you have long pants, high socks, and good shoes, because you don't want to go into this woods without the proper clothing. this path right here in front of me, you can do with basically any clothing, as long as you stick to the paths. But if you venture out into the forest, you will need to have long pants, long socks, etc. As I said, black can represent many different things. These dotted areas here, this is not a footpath. This is not anything you can see in real life in the forest. This is a marker for something in the forest shifting. So it can be that within the dotted area can be one type of tree, and outside of it will be another type of tree. So you will probably notice a shift in how the forest looks, but the dots are nothing real in reality. So we have gone through the black and the types of forests right now. The brown, or as some see it as orange, is not something that most of you have to encounter on this specific map, but when you go further into difficulties of orienteering, you will be more reliant on these types of colors, because this is the curvature of the landscape. So the lines represent how the land goes, which direction is up and which direction is down. And this can really take some practice to feel intuitively. And here on Gotland, the hills are so small that you will barely notice them. Between two of these brown lines is supposed to be an elevation of 2.5 meters. And it's not like on this line it will shift 2.5 meters, but between them there will be 2.5 meters. So the more dense the lines are, if they run parallel to each other quite densely, then that means that the curvature of the land is quite steep. So the denser, the steeper, really, and the more noticeable. We also have these V's, and those are pits. And when they are brown, that means that they should be naturally looking, that it's a naturally occurring pit. If it's a black V, then that means that it's a dug pit. All right. As I said, the blue is water, and these other types of blue here is also wetlands, or some of them might be dry during summer, but you can see that there has been a wetland. And if it's green and blue, this means that it's a dense forest with wet ground. If it's more yellow and blue, that means that it's an open wetland. And so you see how they can overlap each other, also these different types. This map right here is what I recommend everyone to start on. It's roughly 3 kilometers the bird's path, which means that this line right here is the bird's path from point A to point B. We humans can generally not take that path, which you can see here on the first leg. It's a quite close one, so you will probably not run that much farther. But here you will, if you're not very daring to go into the forest here, you can go on the paths around it, and that will add to the length. So it's 3 kilometers bird's path, but this might be 4 or 5 kilometers depending on how you take the course. In general, with orienteering, you should always find your pace before going too fast. So I'd rather see you start a bit slower than you're comfortable with, to really get into the flow. And if you have orienteered before, there's still a point to that, because every area of forest and land is different. So it takes a while to get into, all right, what I see on the map is representing this in reality. And so take it easy in the beginning. be smart, always bring your brains to this and have contingency plans. Like, what happens if I choose the wrong direction? Where will I end up then? And if we say, for example, that you going from the second to third control and you miss to turn on this path, what will you encounter if you missed something? You will encounter another path that and you will encounter these types of a bit denser but open areas. So always be aware of what surroundings you're passing. That's mainly what the orienteering is about. And for this course specifically, you will have to orientate from the paths. So be very mindful of which paths you pass and which paths you take. The main paths right here is quite visible, with an exception of between the fourth and the fifth control. This one was a bit hidden, but if you want to, because this is the most daring alternative to take on this leg, you could either go downwards and go around here, or you can go upwards to take this route. So it's about making smart decisions. It's about bringing your brains. It's very much about being in nature and realizing that we are part of it and that we can navigate through it, but we can't change it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'll see if I wrote something else down. No, I think that's it. And if there's anything that comes up, questions or anything, call me on WhatsApp or text me or come find me and I will be happy to answer them. The maps are right here behind me. I'm in the tech tent right now, down at the seed. And you can go there, take a map, and take the map that looks like this one with 6 controls, because there is also a harder option, which looks like it looks like this, and this one is 11 kilometers. So start out with the other one first and see how that goes. There is also plastic bags which you can put the map in so that it doesn't scramble or anything when you fold it. I recommend that. And if you want to keep the maps, that's fine. There should be enough maps that everyone who wants to try can get one each. But if you don't want to keep it, please bring it back, the plastic bag and the map, and just return it over there. You can go anytime you like. It will probably be quite hot during the day, so preferably go during the morning or afternoon or even in the evening when the weather is a bit calmer. All right, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you around. Cheers.